us in my circle? Who the one who be the snakes? Who gon' fold up under pressure? Who gon' understand the stakes? Who gon' wait to get their food to try to take from off my plate? Who the love? Who gon' understand I'm hurt? Who gon' love me unconditionally and try to make it work? Who gon' party once I'm gone and shed a tear once I'm in dirt? I ain't asking for too much, I'm trying to understand my work.
Welcome to the next episode of Give Me My Crown podcast.
Give Me My Crown podcast.
My name is Antonio.
Anson.
Calvin Davis.
Hold up, David. We got to let us introduce you. Tell you. Introduce the man.
This is Calvin Davis. David, go ahead and tell them what you do.
I'm in law enforcement. I've been in law enforcement for about 10 years now.
All right. So today,
that ain't all you do, man. Keep telling them who you are.
I've been in law enforcement for about 10 years. I've been a bomb technician for 3 years. I've been on bomb squad for about 6. Ride a bike. I'm on the bike unit for the department.
Business owner, you know.
Yeah, I own my own drone business and things like that.
he does a good job. So if y'all need drone pictures for real estate, he the man. He done a few for me.
All right, now let's dive into what we're talking about today. As everybody know, Tonio's in law enforcement, Dave's in law enforcement. We want to get to how it is being a black man in law enforcement. So simple question, do you feel like y'all mentor the community being cops?
Yeah, I definitely think we try. Especially it's, you want to be that positive role model for kids, especially for kids, because for one, kids, you want their interaction, if it's their only interaction with police, you want their interaction to be a good one.
Yeah, based off of what I see on the road still every day, kids coming from different backgrounds and things like that, you want to make sure that whatever they have going on in the home is not brought out into the street in a negative way. So you want to try to make sure that you keep them on a positive track.
Okay, so for the people that don't know, I've been knowing, I heard stories about the great tag team of Eccles and Davis. How great it was. Can anybody outrun y'all? Like if I'm a criminal trying to get away in a foot chase, could I outrun y'all?
You mean back in the day or now?
Now, can I outrun you now? I can't, but I'm just saying, could the everyday criminal outrun you now?
Now, I got some issues.
He do too. Davis do too.
The thing about it is we're chasing younger guys. The age is going down. It's not so much going up.
All right, give me 8 years ago.
Oh, 8 years ago, hands down.
Yeah, try for try.
Hands down.
A lot of people can tell you we walking them down.
For real?
Yes, without a doubt. They'll immediately say, "Oh, I remember that one time you tracked so and so down."
Yeah, back then, my it take a couple years for that arthritis to start kicking in.
So, do y'all feel like being a cop and being a black man is two separate things, or can it go together?
So, I think, how do I put this? So, obviously, we always going to be black. We always have been black.
That's true.
Being a police officer is a job, but I do think they can go together, and I think in a good light. Okay. I think you can bring, because people see us in a badge or us with a badge, and they're like, all right, cool, they just like me. Especially when you start talking to them, you tell them your background, you start talking about type of music you listen to, type of stuff you listen to, and they're like, oh, they see that it's a person behind the badge, and especially when they take the time to get to know you, I think that definitely helps out.
Based off my experience, it could be two different things depending on the situation.
Okay.
Been involved in a lot of situations where it could have easily been like, I think we could have went about this a different way just because of my background.
Yeah.
There's been times where it's been in my favor. It's helped just the profession because I pulled up, not involved in the situation, and I know E can testify to this, that someone's like, I'm gonna go talk to him because he's black. And it's like all they see sometimes is the uniform and they see the skin color. They don't see us as people.
Okay.
So it just all depends on the moment.
So in the black community, the black people relate to y'all more sometimes?
I would say sometimes yes.
Okay.
Because
I saw you laugh though. I saw you laugh.
it all depends on where, and how do you put it? I guess it's because given your background, you kind of see what they go through, how they go through it, why they go through it, and you can kind of relate, because when you grew up in the same environment, you kind of know why they are where they are, and I feel like at times it's our job to either help pull them out or at least try to guide them in the right direction, especially kids.
It's definitely a calling for me. Ever since like 6, 7 years old, I knew I wanted to be a cop.
6 or 7?
Yeah.
Hold up.
That's crazy.
Time out.
Yeah.
So in our community, it's always said, we don't mess with 12.
Mm-hmm.
We don't mess with 12.
Yeah.
So how at 6 or 7 do you know you want to be a police officer?
So for me, it was initially the color of the car.
Hold up.
Yeah, it's crazy. But it was the color of the car.
Okay.
My favorite color was blue. The town that I grew up in, the car was white, blue, and silver.
Okay.
And so I just thought it was a cool thing. Watch cops. I used to love running through the house, get in trouble for that, but running through the house and stuff like that, and then seeing cops able to chase people.
Yeah.
I mean, I just thought that was fun.
Okay.
It was a little different for me. I didn't always want to. I live life spur of the moment.
We know.
When I joined the military, it was spur of the moment, like literally. Recruiter came and knocked on my door. He didn't ask me probably 100 times before, yo, you gonna join the Marine Corps? I'm like, nah. Then one day he came knocking on the door. We was on spring break. I remember it was on a Wednesday. He came and knocked on the door. He said, hey, you ready to join the military today? I said, yeah, why not? And went and signed up. Police department, I filled out the application. It ain't something me and my wife, we moved to the area, and I seen they were hiring, filled out the application, and ever since I started the job, I do like the job.
Fun fact about you being a police officer. So you were a security guard first. Yes. And then he got me to be a security guard because he was like, hey, man, it's easy, man. Be a security guard. I become a security guard. He like, oh, yeah, I'm a cop now. I'm like, what? Like, so question. This is going to be a question for everybody. Snitching. What is a cop's definition of snitching?
Again, you can...
That's person to person, honestly.
Yes, because if you do something to say I do something to your family.
Yeah.
You ain't had no dealings with it, but you know who did it, and you go tell. In my eyes, that's not snitching.
Okay.
That's you helping your family member out who just something happened to him. Now, if you and somebody else go do something, and y'all together, and y'all both do the same thing, and you say you had no dealings with it, it was the other person, now that might be snitching.
So you saying like
based off the streets, yeah.
So you saying in this instance, like if I had a gun in my car, I had drugs in my car, and the judge asked me if, you know what I'm saying, the judge asked you,
yeah,
what are your drugs or your gun? And you say no. And the judge said, it was only one other person in the car, and you say, it won't mine. Is that snitching or not snitching?
Is that snitching or not snitching? He never...
I didn't say who he was.
We can go back way before the judge.
Okay.
We can go back to that actual traffic stop, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, I mean, because at the point, you gotta ask yourself, did the person actually admit to it being theirs or somebody else's, or did they just deny it was theirs?
Right.
So if you just deny it's yours, does that mean you ain't snitching?
It depends on who you ask.
All right. That was a little side note. You know, people who know what we're talking about, you know what we're talking about.
We'll have to follow over that one. Sure. I'm telling you, because Yeah, that's a broad topic. Right
This is a question for both of y'all. Y'all both have daughters, daughters. Do you feel like being a cop also shows your daughters what a man should be, like as far as a protector, or you think that's just part of who you are as men?
Who I am as a
Yeah,
man.
because even without the uniform, I feel like even without the uniform, I'm gonna protect my kids to the fullest,
Okay.
like to the fullest extent.
Do you feel like your kids hold you at a higher statue because you cops? Like I heard
I don't
kids
think they
like my
under- I don't think
parents
they
are cops.
understand.
No, yeah, I don't think that. I think they look at it like, hey, oh, that's his job.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you know, it's to them it's something cool,
Yes.
especially
Okay.
with the car
Yeah.
and pulling up somewhere and they're there, and it's like, oh, your dad's a police officer?
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, it's
Yeah.
something like that. So
And I will say, as being a non-police officer, I see the way people treat them as cops. People love police officers. I don't know why. They just do. They love police officers. Oh, you're a cop? Oh, my God. We want to thank you for your services. I'm like, okay, here we go. Here we go. I see perks of being a police officer. Y'all want to talk about the perks of being a cop? I mean, can I say it from what I see as a perk?
yeah,
What?
Like, y'all be at all the games. You know what I'm saying? Like, all the games. Like, I'm like, man, like, they say, like, man, we got to do off duty this game tonight. I'm like, you want to get to go see a free game. Like, you know, they don't pay for tickets because they got to work the game. Any more perks?
So from my aspect
Yeah.
of it, we have to be at all the games for the most part, especially at the stadium.
Okay.
Stadiums function a little different for different levels of security and things. But on the bomb side of things, I get to go some places most people don't get to go. So just to make sure the area is good.
How is
But
it dealing
it's-
with bombs, though, man? Like, if somebody take me a bomb that way, I'm going this way. You know what I'm saying? You going to the bomb. Like, how's that?
It's definitely different than gunshots. I'll tell you that
Yeah.
for sure. You know, so it's
Because you don't know when it's gonna happen.
you don't
how
know
it's
when.
gonna happen.
Yeah, I mean, you could be going to something that is on time, and that time could be right when you get there.
Yeah.
or it could not, and you still have some time to try to work it out. But I mean, it's
And the
it's
wrong
a-
thing
yeah.
could trigger it. Radio frequency, static, somebody else.
Nah. Yeah, I'm gonna stay over here, you know, being a civilian. But another question is just thinking about like the kids and communities y'all were in together. Did you try to be more of a, like, you meet some police officers, they trying to enforce the law versus trying to get people to understand and be what a good citizen is, like how to mentoring the youth to make sure they become great citizens as they get older.
being in the area still that he and I started in, and like I said, doing it for 10 years, seeing the kids that we talked to, like stay in school and seeing them older and now as an adult and things like that. It's a good feeling because they come back, the parents come back. So there's a lot of ups to being in the area for a while.
Okay.
Yeah, and I do think it helps kids out in the long run if you mentor rather than necessarily. Obviously, you got to enforce the law, but I think it helps because obviously you get a lot of discretion. So instead of arresting a kid, if there's another avenue you could take, that's always best because you don't want that kid to start at a young age with a record. Now, if they keep doing the same thing, obviously they never learn. But if you can make that one, if that one time was a one time for them, then when they get older, it's almost like it never happened.
Gotcha.
Especially if they're not charged or anything like that. So I feel like it's as long as you're doing it legally and you're being that mentor, I think it helps the kid because the kid will always like me and him had plenty of situations. Something's going on, kids will come over and talk to us, or we'll get information that
Right.
we otherwise wouldn't have gotten if we were a-holes to the kid.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I think it definitely helped.
So the kid snitching.
No,
Okay, just
No, it's not just the kids. It's
I'm just
all-
joking.
Yeah, so people genuinely, when the situation's hot, and when I say hot, it's people are yelling. You know how a community can get.
Yeah.
They know the person. Now the police come in. You're already a stranger, and then your job already doesn't have a good light.
Okay.
In the area. So being able to go in during that and have people actually come up to you and say, let me talk to you over here.
Yes.
And, you know,
Yeah.
And be 100% honest and say, that's not who you need to be dealing with, because y'all will figure it out. I'm not going to tell you,
Yeah.
but that's not who it is.
Okay.
And it's
Yeah.
like, okay, that kind of helps, because that person who we might be dealing with, detained, arrested, whoever, might have a bad record, but just because of that, it might help us open our eyes and say, all right, now let me start looking at the crowd.
Yes.
Maybe.
And past experiences with people also help. So if you're always respectful, always treat everybody with respect and dignity, that goes a long way, because then later on when you deal with that person, either if you're dealing with them directly or indirectly, they're either going to talk to you, or, I mean, we've had people plenty of times be like, I mean, y'all arrested me, y'all cool as hell though. And then they'll sit there and have a whole conversation with us, and we just arrested them. And they sit there thanking us at the end of the day.
Because you keep it honest.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because it's a process. It genuinely is a process. When those handcuffs go on and it's determined that the person has to go downtown or wherever to the jail, the average person does not know
Okay.
what that process is.
Yeah.
And and we do.
Yeah.
So to make the situation easier on this person who's in a stressful situation, who obviously we come across people in bad moments majority of the time, to be able to break it down, calm them down, explain to them the ins and outs of what most likely is going to happen.
Yeah.
They remember that.
Okay.
Yeah. And then we've had one guy before, he came back, he got arrested, got out of jail, came back and thanked us, told us we changed his life.
Okay.
Because even though we arrested him, he changed from that point on.
So, do you think the way somebody's arrested can help them be rehabilitated? Because like the guy remembered the way y'all arrested him. You know what I'm saying? And like, thank y'all for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I
you
think
think
so.
if I'm manhandled the wrong way, does
Yeah.
that affect?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And to be honest, because people will remember if they were resisting and you had to use some kind of force to arrest them, or if they weren't resisting and you still use force, people remember that.
Okay.
They really do.
Because they will come back in. We've had people a couple of times where some kind of force had to be used, and they'll come back later and apologize to us. Like, hey, I know I gave y'all a hard time back there. My bad. I'm sorry.
So people really do be testing y'all.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Genuinely, the streets will test a person, and you know, I've pulled up plenty of times places, not involved in no case or anything like that. Just maybe going in the store, just seeing if the store was good or whatever, just showing my face in there, and somebody come up and was like, "Why you had to get so strong with me?" It's like,
Yes.
like what do you mean? Like, do you not remember? Yeah, I know what I was doing, but I didn't know you was that strong though. It's like. I mean, hey,
They can't look at y'all and tell y'all strong.
No,
Okay, all right.
no, because it goes back to different moments.
Yeah.
You never know who's watching,
Yep.
and they'll think, "Oh well, they cut them a break. They were real nice.
Yeah.
They're not gonna get hands on. They're not gonna get aggressive with me." So they will take it to the next step. But we have a good rep on the street for sure, and it still lasts to this day. I'm telling you, people remember us. It's not like, you know, I'm no disrespectful or anything, but people genuinely remember him and I. Even officers that are at this point, maybe 5 years into their career, they're like, "Man, I wish I started when y'all started."
For real?
What? Man, I'm
Yes.
telling you,
Y'all,
they
y'all act like y'all some
genuinely-
real legends or something, man. Y'all stop playing.
It's genuine.
Okay, so all right, let's go on this. People talk about bad cops, good cops, all this stuff, right? Do you feel like I can say this, they good cops. Like, they really upstanding citizens and cops. Do you feel like those bad cops make it hard for y'all? And in
Yeah.
what ways do they make it hard?
I think so because it gives, because especially if you got people who only see police at their worst moment, and at their worst moment, if they're seeing the same police officer who dealt with them before or who handled them a certain type of way, then that's what they're going to see police as.
Okay.
So it's like when we go in and you got probably 98% of cops are good. And then you got that very small percentage that makes it hard for everybody. And I think some people, especially when you see videos online, stuff like that, that's what you see. But say if you see 10 bad videos, there's probably 10 million good ones that you just that ain't never been seen.
I'm gonna ask a question. Y'all can choose to answer it or not to answer it. Do you feel like the media does that though? They show
Media?
the bad cops get more publicity than the good cops do.
Yeah, I think that's with anything because even with stuff like when you see like active shooters sometimes things like that, you don't want the media because that's what that person wants. Obviously, they want publicity. So when the media posts that person's face as a suspect, then I think the media is giving that person exactly what they want.
Okay.
And
The public automatically, if they're listed as a suspect, the word suspect is used heavy.
yes,
If they are put as a suspect on a TV screen, half the community has already said, "Oh, they're guilty."
Gotcha.
And it's
okay.
like they don't understand what happens behind the scenes.
Yes.
Behind the scenes, like officers get behind the scenes, and then detectives they go even further behind. They start digging even more.
Gotcha.
So I would say because a lot of videos that are out online, you only get maybe 2 minutes of it. You only get the worst 2 minutes of it. You don't get the last 38 minutes and 30 seconds of what happened, what led up to this. You
And
know?
speaking of that, y'all my boys, right? So for me, I look at some videos and put, like, say, if one of y'all in a situation, like, if somebody got a gun, I'm like, yo, I want to see my boys come home. So I don't care if you shoot 3 times or 35 times, just make sure y'all come home safe.
Right.
yeah.
Do you feel like when people count bullets or how many times the officer shot the gun, like, because they're not in the situation, the adrenaline ain't rolling, they don't really understand the whole situation?
Yeah,
100%.
because when you in that moment, you're in what's called midbrain most of the time, and you don't know. Like you can literally shoot 10 shots in a second, in a half a second, and you're not counting. You're just going until the threat is eliminated.
And what is that called? Midbrain?
Midbrain.
All right, break that down. Y'all giving us stuff?
Psychologically, it's when you hit a point where adrenaline in your mind has gotten to a point where it's just like, I need to save myself.
Yeah.
That's 100% it. It's,
All right.
I need to save myself. There's other science, there's other stuff behind it, but your mind has gone to a point where, all right, if you don't save yourself, then you're in trouble.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you just react.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, that's when training, exercise, all that stuff plays a factor because there's been many of times where him and I have been in situations where it's like, we've talked about it years back. Whenever it's like, if this was another officer, that person probably be hurt right now. If it was this officer, no telling if it was this, that type of stuff. So.
And even a lot of those situations, some of the situations we've been in where nothing happened, even if police would have done something, they would have been justified in doing what they did. Mm-hmm. But the approach that we took, it obviously didn't have to go to that level.
Yeah.
We took that extra breath.
Yes.
And we were able to mentally, because we've been partners for so long, and just being in good physical shape actually helped, because it was like somebody else could have topped out, adrenaline could have dumped, and ours, we was like, we're not even there yet. Not even close, so.
See, he keep painting this legend mode.
I'm telling you, man, there's some bad men out there.
They topped out. We ain't at that yet. You know what I'm saying? I see how it is, man. I see how it is. So I'm about to get to a funny question. Something that people talk about all the time, no matter where you at in life. This quota for tickets.
No,
Is it real or not real?
it is not real.
So I'll elaborate a little bit.
All right.
It's not real for certain units.
Oh,
Yeah.
hold on. Oh, keep going.
Certain units. Now, most of the time when people talk quotas, they're talking traffic.
Yeah.
There are units in every department, every agency, however you want to break it down, feds, all this other stuff, that they do have them because their unit is grant funded.
Okay. All right.
So, and there's a lot of traffic units all across the country where they do have quotas.
Okay.
And yeah, some of those traffic units are specifically standing out there. All they're doing all day is looking for traffic violations.
That's it.
Okay.
So they're looking in every car that ride by. Oh, no seatbelt. Let me go stop them. Like that's what they do. And obviously they do that because a lot of units do that in high accident areas. Like if you have a place that's having really high accidents or a lot of fatalities.
Yeah.
If they see no seatbelts, they see you speeding even 6 miles over, they may give you a ticket just so you're more aware when you hit that area because it is a high area.
Okay. So my ears here, there's a such thing as a quota.
I mean, there is by definition,
Okay,
yes,
make
but
sure.
it all depends on where you're at. Well, that's it, 100%
And
where you're at.
I'll say this: people need to break this down because people see the sheriff, they be like, they're the police. What's the difference between a sheriff and a police officer?
It depends. So it depends on where you're at. Every city, state is different. Because like here in North Carolina, you have police, you got sheriffs, and you got state police, you got highway patrol, and
Too much, man.
yeah, I mean it's different because in some areas, sheriffs all they do is they may serve warrants, they work in the jail,
Right.
they do civil process. In other areas, sheriffs do everything police does because a lot of these smaller municipalities don't have police, and so the sheriff is the police of that town.
Okay.
And on
All
top
right.
of that, there are some areas here in North Carolina where the state troopers actually handle
Yes.
the 911 calls.
Man,
They can get real weedish.
you give me that overload right now.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking about cops. I mean, police officers and sheriffs, like state troopers. I'm thinking they sheriffs too. So I mean, I don't know. Like
Yeah.
as you see, I don't know all that goes into law enforcement.
Deputies and deputy sheriffs are part of the sheriff's office.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
So if you see police, then they are most likely the city
Okay.
Yeah.
See, y'all cream of the crop, pretty much. Is just what you're saying.
for our area.
Yeah, it
Okay.
depends on because every area is different. But a sheriff does have the same authority as a police.
Okay.
Yeah, don't get that confused.
So this is going to be my last and final question. Do you feel like you're compensated according to the job you do? Do you feel like you should get paid more?
I think we always feel like we should get paid more. I think I know this answer is gonna sound cliche. I think any job you do, no matter who you are, you feel like you're not paid
No,
enough.
I'm gonna expound, man. So, all right, this ain't no knock on no pro athlete, but it is. Ain't none of them risking their. I mean, they do risk their life for this gladiator sport. I get that, but ain't nobody getting gunshot shot at them. Ain't nobody getting people trying to. You got to chase down somebody for a crime they committed. It's for the love of a game, and they making what $20 million, man? It's like $30 million. Like you could be a dude sitting on the bench and get you a $60 million contract for 5 years.
I mean, y'all just keep in mind, Keith is the one who said this. If y'all,
Yeah, I said that.
If y'all want to sponsor us,
I said that. What I'm saying is, like, NBA team, Dallas Mavericks, Luka, you my boy. But I'm just saying, at the same time, Jerry Jones, I love you. I love you, Jerry. But at the same time, man, you got to think about, man, y'all should get more.
yeah, I think because
Yeah.
I mean, even with police, because even if you break it down to, I guess to certain jobs,
Yeah.
teachers should get paid more.
Yeah.
Police should get paid more. Nurses should get paid more.
I agree.
Because you got they're the ones on the front. You got police, teachers, nurses. You got nurses is the first people
Don't
that
forget about firefighters.
firefighters, yes,
Yeah.
and medic.
Yeah,
but
sure,
I'll group medic in there with nurses because kind of the
Yeah,
same thing. But you got nurses. They're the first people, or the first people that people see when they go in the hospital.
Yep.
Police is the first people that people see when they're having a bad day, and even kids in school or kids on the street. You got to be that mentor, and then, like you said, firefighters. They have a dangerous job because they're doing everything medic does, but they're also
running in the
fighting the
house.
fire.
There you go, man.
I mean, you're running in a blazing building.
bro.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Because look at 9/11. Look how many firefighters
Lost their
died
life, yeah.
during
Yep.
9/11,
Yep.
and I mean their families are still suffering today.
Yep.
But they're running into burning buildings trying
Yep.
to save people.
You run into a building, you know it's a possibility you're gonna die. So
Yeah, that structure.
that's what I'm saying about y'all job. Every day you wake up, man, you know. I mean, obviously, you know you coming back home. We can't say it now with school shootings. So it's like you don't know if you're coming back home.
Yeah, I mean it's definitely true. It's definitely true.
At all points of the job, yeah.
And I think that's why you gotta. First of all, you have to know your job.
Yeah.
You have to, like you said, always respect people because if you respect people, especially like in schools, if you work in a school, if you talk to kids on a daily and you build a relationship with those kids,
Yeah.
the kids know if something's going to happen before teachers know. So those kids will come to you and say, hey, you might want to be right here at this time. I'm just letting you know. Or, yo, such and such got some on them. You might want to go check them. Or hey, I heard this going to happen at this time. You might want to get on it.
So it's like me. That's like me growing up right there as I was in school. Like
You was a snitch in school.
listen, I ain't gonna say I was no snitch, but true story. We in middle school.
Yeah.
Kid comes to me and say, "Hey man, I got something cool to show you." I said, "Man, what you got?" He showed me a gun. I said, "Oh man, that's what's up." As soon as he walk out, I say, "Hey, my man got a gun in his school bag." Like, nah, we just saw school shootings. I'm not gonna get shot. Like,
yeah, because and stuff like that really works. Like
Yeah.
if you got a good relationship with the kids,
Yeah.
they will tell you anything.
yeah,
And it's
Streets
not
too.
yes, and it's not even to get other people in trouble, it's to save them and their community.
yeah, yep,
Because they genuinely care. And it's not always pulling up whenever something's going on. It's when they don't have something going on. It's when you want to relate because
Yes.
not only officers have adrenaline dumps, but people do.
That's true.
A
That's
lot
true.
of what they say to officers during the moment is not even them talking. It's just
Yep.
it's just the emotion.
okay,
And yeah, you got a lot of people who actually, contrary to what you may see in the media, a lot of people actually want us in the community. They want to see us.
Yeah.
Obviously not in a bad light, but they want us to ride through. They want to talk to us, like just show a presence because they know what kind of community they live in
Yeah.
and they know what could happen. So they want to see that face or that
Okay.
car or whatever. And a lot of times they don't want to just see you ride by. They respect you more if you get out and talk to them.
Yeah.
Like, because we used to talk to people all the time. We'll get out, walk on foot, and talk to kids, throw the football with the kids, play basketball with kids, just talking to the grown-ups, just whatever.
85 to 92% of people have never had interaction with law enforcement. It's
Yes.
just they are concerned about how their peers view them. That's why they say a lot of the things that
Right.
they say about police because
Yeah.
I've been on the front line of the riots and protests and things like that. And I'm seeing people out there, I'm like, you were just talking to me the other day. You were just talking to me the other day. You dapped me up the other day. You hugged me the other day. Like, what are y'all doing out here? Or are you just following the rest?
that's a good point. Right, so riots, right? Let's use the Black Lives Matter riots. Being on this side as a cop, this is my job, and you see all these black people over here. It's like, how do you separate the two? Like, look, I'm a cop, I'm black, but this is stupid. Y'all trying to burn the city down.
It takes a lot of patience, I'll be honest.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, that's what it takes, patience.
Because I know people say stuff to y'all like,
Oh, without a
Yeah,
doubt.
all the time.
Yeah.
You just got to be able to, like he said, patience, and I mean that's really what it boils
Yeah.
down to. You got to have the patience, and
Deaf. You be deaf.
yeah,
Like literally deaf.
Yeah.
Because they're saying things. Most protests makes up maybe 20 or 30 people who actually genuinely believe what they're protesting.
Yes.
Yeah.
The rest of them, followers, or they're literally paid to be out there
Yeah. And
to
then
try to get a reaction out of us.
Who paying them?
yeah, we'll talk about that later.
All right, so we clearly went somewhere we couldn't go. You
But
know?
I think the media plays a big part in that too. Because I mean, it's like Denzel said: if you don't watch the news, you're uninformed.
Yep.
If you watch it, you're misinformed.
Yep.
So it's kind of a catch-22.
Hey, look, but if you paying for rides, you need somebody. You want to pay me contact me. I want to see how much y'all paying. Or you want to come on the podcast? We invite you on the podcast. But we get some good information right here off some cops.
I mean, it's really just scratching the surface. It's so much. Like we could probably do 20 episodes.
I mean, we can't get no good stories before we end this episode. No good. Y'all want to just hold off?
We'll hold off on the stories
Oh,
a
all
little
right,
bit.
all right. I heard some good stories.
David's got a good one.
Okay.
So this once I get into the details, you'll remember. I think this was like a highlight. We where we literally was out there on our own. So we were just riding through this neighborhood, pulled into a parking lot, and it was one guy in the car. We pulled up with another officer. Him and I were riding together, but we pulled up with another officer. He was behind us. And it was a call for something completely different. I think someone called in just to get us in the area.
Yeah.
And by the time we pulled up in the parking lot, I don't know why, but we stopped super far back. Super far. I was driving. I don't know. It was just like, go.
Yeah.
It had to be at least 50 feet.
Yeah.
And dude took off. He saw us. He took off. It was funny because the other officer that pulled up with us, he took off with us.
Yeah.
Until maybe about 15 feet. He said, "This is not my game." He said, I'll never forget. He said, "I'm going back to the car." Like,
oh, he gonna drive?
No.
The car the guy ran from.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we chased this dude, at least 100 yards.
Yeah.
And he was not smart. He tried to hide in a screen door
Yeah.
between the actual door.
And we
between
seen him the whole time.
And we seen him, and it was like, man, get out here. That happened, and that was the whole time we were running. He was trying to talk on the radio.
Yeah.
His radio mic came off.
Yes.
So he's talking on the radio, but it's not going through. We stride for stride.
Yeah.
He's giving it out. I hear him.
Yeah.
We didn't have body cams at the time.
Okay.
And of course, it was the last thing they heard was we had one running, and here comes the city. And we get back over, and they were like, "Why didn't y'all answer up?"
Yeah, they had
And-
K9 coming, everything. I'm like, and finally we hear him over the radio. We're walking the dude back, and we hear the radio. We hear the sirens, everything. They come over the radio. All right, y'all good? Like, yeah, we good. Why? What's up? And not to know, I thought I was getting out the whole time, and I wasn't.
Oh,
the radio
man.
had popped off. Yeah. So
But it was,
that was a pretty big season too.
yeah.
That was one of those. That was one of those guys that literally was like, "Oh, what's up?" Later
Okay.
on, later on down the line.
Yeah.
After everything.
Yeah, man. Even after we arrested him, even on the way to jail, everything. He wasn't disrespectful.
Okay.
I mean, his family. Why y'all arrest him? Why y'all arrest him? It's like, that's him.
Yeah.
He told him.
Man, if I'm in that situation, man, I gotta be disrespectful. If once you, if I know I'm going to jail, we just gonna keep racking up them charges.
But that's the
Got
thing,
you,
know,
man.
we have been cursed out all the way to
Yes.
China and back.
Okay.
And didn't flinch. And it was just like, as soon as you get somebody in the car away from all of that, they shut up.
Yeah.
As big as I am,
They not tough.
I'm gonna tell you, big as I am, I'm gonna make you carry me to the car. You gonna be tired. You gonna be out of breath for real. You gonna be mad. You gonna be mad. I'm gonna sit there and be like, get up. I've been watching cops. They tell people to roll on their side, then send them up and all this stuff. I'm like, nope.
If it's now, we're going to sit there. I'm not thinking of it. We gonna sit there because I'm like, all right, that's fine. I'm getting paid for this one.
But that's all we got for y'all today. But Tony, what we gotta do right now before we go?
As we always tell y'all, this is more than a podcast. We handing out crowns.
So we gotta give my boy Davis his crown. You know, Calvin, what you want to go by on here?
Cal Davis.
Cal Davis, it's all good. You gotta give him his crown today. You know, I'm gonna even get Tony your crown today because he a police officer too. He broke down, but he's still a cop. So
I appreciate it.
Until next time, remember, we handing out crowns.
Hand them out.
Who the love it, who the hate? Who the realest in my circle? Who the one who be the snakes? Who gon' fold up under pressure? Who gon' understand the stakes? Who gon' wait to get they food to try to take from off my plate? Who the love? Who gon' understand I'm hurt? Who gon' love me unconditionally and try to make it work? Who gon' party once I'm gone and shed a tear once I'm in dirt? I ain't asking for too much, I'm trying.